Kerouac, let's go ahead and take a look. I must have read the assignment out of order. That I missed that there were a discussion attached. That's on me, but here is my banana text. Yeah, you're not the only one. A couple of other students had missed that Wednesday deadline requirement, and it's really, really important to follow the. And I'm not singling you out, and I'm making sure that I mention that to all of the students who missed the Wednesday submission. I'm not singling you out at all. I just want to offer some tips. The way the class is set up is that your first submission is due Wednesday. Then we provide. I'll give you a complete, robust video critique for which you can apply the comments to the work for your final submission for the assignment that's due on Sunday. So it's really, really a great idea to take advantage of that, the mechanics of the class to ensure that you get the best grades out of the class. And that's all contingent upon submitting the work on time. And the reason I say that is because if the work is submitted on time, I can guarantee you're going to get a full video critique. If the work isn't submitted on time, I can't even guarantee a video critique, but I can say that if it's submitted on time, you'll get a full video group. So the point is just shoot for adhering to deadlines. And okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the work here, shall we? All right, so I think it's a good start. I've got the letter forms up here. So a couple of things I want to recommend is right now it looks like when you shot this, it looks like you shot it with your camera. But it looks like the camera was kind of on an angle like that because we see some distortions. Specifically, this has got some keystoning going on, meaning that this is slanted this way, this is slanted this way, and those are distortions based on the fact that your camera wasn't directly level and above the piece when you photographed it. So be very, very careful. In a perfect world, you'll scan these. You'll have a scanner. But if not, shooting them is fine. You just have to make sure that that camera is perfectly level and right above the work so we don't get this keystoning distortion effects. All right, so we take a look at the baseline, mean line, cap line. Baseline's pretty level. That's good. Mean line looks pretty level too. Cap line kind of going downhill a little bit. Cap line is not, there's a little space between the cap B and the cap line, so you want to be aware of that. Also, it looks like a lot of your letters aren't reaching. This lowercase n isn't reaching the the mean line. So you want to be aware of that. Now, as far as the letter forms go, I think you're pretty good, but there's some areas that you really want to pay attention to, specifically the variable stroke width on the lowercase a. As we can see, this portion of lowercase a is much more narrow than this portion. And again, we see that variable stroke width here on the branch of the lowercase n where it meets the vertical stem. And we can see how much thinner it is right there than in there. And then additionally, lowercase a's, look at this tail right here that kind of swerves off to the right where yours is straight diagonal. So you would definitely want to depict those. Now, in terms of craft, you got some smudges and you got some kind of, remember when we were little kids and you had a color within the lines? Well, we have a couple of areas where you're protruding the contour lines with the interior fill. So what my recommendation is to use a very, very hard lead. And you can apply these to your next week 2 fire and ice assignment as well. But what I would do is I would just trace the letters out using a very hard lead for the contour lines. Then I'd go in with a soft lead and fill those in, keeping that soft lead within the confines of that contour line. Okay, good letter spacing, what we would consider to be normal letter spacing. The general rule of thumb for kerning is you want the tightest space to be between 2 curved letter forms, followed by the next most narrow space being between straight and curved, and then the widest between 2 straights. And the reason for that is because we want it to appear as though the volume between letters is identical, disregarding this open counter, of course. But so this negative space right here should appear to be equal to this negative space. So intuitively, we would close this down since there's more surface area, reducing that surface area. We would open this up a little bit, increasing this space, increasing that surface area so that it appears that the volume between each of the letter combinations is the same. In other words, what we would, if you could imagine to having a pitcher of water and you're pouring the pitcher of water or pitchers of water in between the letters at the same time at the same rate, they would fill up the exact same time and rate. But that, again, of course, that's assuming that this is a closed counter, not this open counter. So you just pretend that that just comes right down like that, okay? Now this is all covered in these announcements right here. Welcome to week 1, how to complete assignment 1, how to kern banana, and welcome to week 2. These are really, really important. There's several video tutorials, plenty of tips and tricks, and all sorts of advice and recommendations on kerning and letter spacing, including a very, very detailed description of why letter spacing is so important. So I highly recommend you take a look at those. Again, let's shoot for trying to adhere to the course requirements in terms of scheduling. And that way we can assure that you're going to receive the optimal feedback for all of your work. All right, Kerouac, thank you very much. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Thank you.